Good afternoon and welcome to the New York City Council hearing of the Committee on Veterans. At this time, can everybody please silence your cell phones? If you wish to testify, please go to the back of the room to fill out a testimony slip. At this time and going forward, no one is to approach the dais. I repeat, no one is to approach the dais. Chair, we are ready to begin.
Thank you, Sergeant. Good afternoon. I'm Councilmember Robert Holden, Chair of the Committee on Veterans, and welcome to our oversight hearing. The topic is an update on implementing recommendations from the City Council's Report Card Initiative. The Department of Veteran Services was chosen as one of the first 3 agencies to be reviewed as part of the City Council's City Agency Report Card Initiative. And DVS was the first agency to have its review completed. City Council Speaker Adrienne E. Adams had introduced the initiative at her 2024 State of the City address, noting that the council would be conducting its own evaluations of city agencies in order to judge their delivery of services to New Yorkers. The council's Compliance Division conducted an assessment of DVS's operations and performance between June 2024 and March 2025 using a variety of sources of information. The assessment looked at 7 pillars of agencies' structure and operations, and they are leadership, strategy, and direction, service deliveries for New Yorkers, relationships and collaboration, workforce development, financial and resources management, digital government, and measurement, analysis, and knowledge management. The Council's Compliance Division published its findings and recommendations in a report last March. The report noted that DVS was celebrating its 10th anniversary, which the Council felt it was an appropriate time to look back and evaluate its work in its first decade, as well as to look forward. And that's why we're really doing this, to look forward to its work for the next 10 years. Based on the analysis presented in the report, DVS was awarded an overall grade of C for its current level of performance. And again, grades are subjective. I taught for 40 years in CUNY, and grades are an evaluation, and it not necessarily always the most accurate. So take it for what it is. A grade of C was defined as adequate performance and capability, with some internal processes needing improvement. The report offered 7 key findings. DVS makes, and this is number 1, DVS makes an effort to meet veterans where they are likely to be. DVS has tried to use its resources wisely while recognizing that it cannot do it alone. There is a gap between DVS's reported practices and the experiences described by veterans and advocates. Continuity of care is critical to the long-term health, stability, and financial well-being of veterans. And DVS has created various support channels for veterans to access its services, and also collaborates with several government and nonprofit agencies on a number of initiatives. DVS needs to rebuild trust with the New York City veteran community, and DVS must do better in leveraging other New York City agencies to reach and to serve more veterans. Finally, the report provided 15 recommendations, and I'll cover some of them. Short-term and long-term planning, which is always very, very important. The operations of Veterans Resource Centers, which we've expanded. The communication methods to use with veterans, continuity of care, call tracking and monitoring, relationships with veterans advocates and veteran service organizations, VSOs, and DVS staffing, contracting, digital strategy, and more. At the committee's first hearing on the report last April, the commissioner responded to each recommendation, noting that DVS would implement many of them, and also noting that DVS felt that a few were not warranted. And maybe the commissioner will touch upon that today. About 7 months later, I look forward to hearing the Commissioner's review of the 15 recommendations and the current status of each one. And I know from the testimony the Commissioner has presented at hearings since last April that some progress has been made on important recommendations. So I look forward to hearing about them today. And before turning to the business at hand, I would like to just make one comment on behalf of a special group of veterans as we wind up November, which is National Veterans and Military Families Month. This story comes out of Margraten in the Netherlands, the site of the Netherlands American Cemetery, where more than 8,000 U.S. soldiers who fought in World War II are buried. Last year, our committee voted on Councilmember Menin's resolution that commemorated the 80th anniversary of D-Day. The resolution was later adopted by the entire council. The resolution told about the rows and rows of graves of 9,386 Americans, most of whom died on the beaches of Normandy and in the ensuing campaign, whose sacrifices are forever honored at Normandy's American Cemetery and Memorial in Colleville-sur-Mer, France, on the site of the cemetery established by the U.S. First Army on June 8, 1944. The graves of American soldiers marked by white crosses and stars of David in foreign cemeteries are, of course, sacred. Just last month, 2 displays commemorating the role of black soldiers in World War II were removed by our federal government from the Visitor Center at the Netherlands American Cemetery. In fall 1944, the U.S. Army's 960th Quartermaster Service Company, a mostly black unit, arrived in Margraten to dig graves at the newly created cemetery. First Lieutenant Jefferson Wiggins told of seeing soldiers under his command crying as they dug those graves. So this month, Janice Wiggins, his widow, said this, quote, "The removal of the displays is disrespectful to black American soldiers who served and to their legacies and their families certainly cherish," quote, unquote. Local Dutch residents in Margraten also have brought flowers to these American graves for decades. The Dutch officials have called for the reinstatement of the displays at the cemetery to honor the 172 black soldiers who came to liberate Europe and are now buried on Dutch soil. So I want to say that this committee honors, I want to say this to Ms. Wiggins, Mrs. Wiggins, that this committee honors your husband's service, as well as the service of all black American soldiers in World War II, including and especially those who are buried on foreign ground. And at this time, I'd like to acknowledge my colleagues who are here today. We have Councilmember Simca Felder, and on Zoom, we have Councilmember Areola, and Sandy Nurse was here, and she's going to return, so we look forward to her participation. I'd also like to thank, this is my final Veterans Committee hearing as chair, and I'll be leaving the council after 8 years, and I cherish my time on this committee and working with the commissioner and DVS. They're friends, and I consider you guys family because we work so closely together. But I'd like to also thank my committee staff who worked hard, Alejandro Caraval, our committee counsel to my right, Regina Paul, she's somewhere floating around, our senior policy analyst, and Margaret Barnsley, our financial analyst. And finally, I want to thank my Chief of Staff, Daniel Cazina, who's in the back there, whose birthday is today. Okay, council member, I was just told Councilmember Palladino is on Zoom also. So I'd like to turn it over to our committee counsel to administer the oath to witnesses from the administration. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Please raise your right hands, and I will call on each of you individually. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this committee and to respond honestly to council members' questions? Commissioner Hendon.
I do.
Nicole Orlando.
I do.
Danae Smalls.
I do.
Thank you. As a reminder to all of our witnesses, please state your name prior to your testimony for the record. You may begin.
Good afternoon, Chair Holden, members of the Veterans Committee, U.S. military service members past and present, and veteran community supporters, benefactors, and allies. My name is James Hendon. I'm proud to serve as Commissioner of the New York City Department of Veteran Services. Joining me today is Nicole Orlando, Deputy Chief of Staff and Director of Veteran Transition, and Danae Smalls, Executive Director for Housing Support Services. We are honored to appear before you in this discussion that follows up on the points made in the April 2025 City Council DVS scorecard. First and foremost, I'd like to once again thank and acknowledge all who are part of this process. I want to acknowledge our team at DVS, many of whom contributed to the agency's response. I would also like to recognize those in the council who are directly involved in this. By unit, I'd like to call out the City Council compliance, data operations, web development, Committee on Veterans, event and production services, oversight and investigations, and those who contributed to the editing of this document. Last but not least, I'd like to recognize all veterans and community advocates who contributed. Any day when we are talking about veterans is a good day. I recognize that we all have different roles, but everyone's unified goal who's involved in this process is to see better outcomes and services delivered to the U.S. military service members past and present and their loved ones in this great city. Before getting into the weeds on certain aspects of our response to the scorecard and where the agency stands in the wake of the report at this time, I want to acknowledge certain foundational issues in what is a well-intentioned but in certain places flawed analysis. For one thing, I want to remind the council that DVS estimates there to be more than 200,000 veterans in New York City, especially when accounting for those who either A, currently serve in the military of all components, active duty, guard, and reserve, or B, are former guardsmen and reservists who were never placed on active duty status. The Census Bureau does not count these groups. As an example, I, Commissioner of the Nycc Department of Veteran Services, have served in the military for 23 years. 7 as an active duty officer who deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan, 16 as an U.S. Army reservist. I am still serving. I am not counted in the Census Bureau's data as being a veteran. That said, while we estimate that more than 200,000 veterans live in New York City, according to a city council spokesperson who communicated with the media when the report was released, quote, only 21 people were surveyed as part of the report, end quote. 21 out of more than 200,000 veterans is less than 0.01% of our community. The size, makeup, and method of selection limit what can be inferred, repeatedly leaning on this small group throughout the report without clearly noting those limitations does the analysis a disservice. This brings me to my second point. Leaders from the largest veteran service organizations in New York City were not included in this discussion. The VSOs that have a strong enough presence in New York City to have paid full-time staff operating in the 5 boroughs at the time of the council's analysis were the American Legion, Veterans of Foreign Wars, Disabled American Veterans, Wounded Warrior Project, Blue Star Families, Black Veterans for Social Justice, and Hope for the Warriors. No senior person from each of these VSOs participated in the council's surveys nor its discussions to our knowledge. I'm speaking of no district commander for the American Legion or VFW, no leadership from the DAV Department of New York, no person who leads the New York City teams for the Wounded Warrior Project, Blue Star Families, or Hope for the Warriors, and no one at the C-suite level from Black Veterans for Social Justice, New York City's largest homegrown veteran service organization. We respect the views of the 21 participants. We also believe that omitting senior VSO port voices, those with scale, caseload, and citywide reach, constrains the utility of the findings. For future surveys, please start with the question, who are the largest actors in this domain, and are there senior leaders at the table? That approach will strengthen any conclusions drawn. The last thing I want to touch on before we discuss the scorecard is its contradictions. In many cases, one page says one thing, another page says something else, or what is said in the scorecard does not match with reality. Case in point, Borden Avenue Veterans Residence is a Department of Homeless Services run shelter with select beds that are subsidized by the VA that exclusively houses veterans in New York City. One page says DVS has no presence at Borden Avenue Veterans Residence. Another page says the truth, which is that we maintain a daily presence at Borden Avenue. One page of the report says that DVS is not transparent about data. Another page points out that DVS makes information available through the open data portal, mayor's management reports, and local law reporting. I would also like to point the public to nyc.gov/vet reports, a website where we publish our data-related information, reporting, and outputs. One page says that DVS does not provide descriptions of roles in the agency. A description of each role in the agency, along with explanations of our methods of data collection, definitions for specific terms, summaries of our programs, and DVS's overall performance information, can be found in the annual report that we submit in accordance with Local Law 44 of 2019. This too can be found on nyc.gov/vetreports. Most erringly, one page says that our work, quote, has not translated to consistent improvement of services, communication, or outreach, end quote. Meanwhile, the most recent Mayor's Management Report shows increases in each of the following metrics when you compare the averages of FY22 and 23 to FY24 and 25. Veterans and their families served by DVS. 345% increase from an average of 2,203 veterans and families served in FY22 and 23 to an average of 9,811 served in FY24 and 25. Requests from veterans and their families. 518% increase from an average of 5,058 requests in FY22 and 23 to an average of 31,262 requests in FY24 and 25. Public engagement events attended by DVS to promote veteran resources, 48% increase from an average of 196 events in FY22 and 23 to an average of 291 events in FY24 and 25. Online site visits, 113% increase from an average of 77,025 visits in FY22 and 23 to an average of 163,870 visits in FY24 and 25. Homeless veterans and their families who received housing through DVS's Veteran Peer Coordinator program, 59% increase from an average of 88 who received housing in FY22 and 23 to an average of 140 in FY24 and 25. I've said this before. If I am grading a student who has significantly improved their performance in key metrics, anywhere from a 48% increase to a 518% increase. 518% is more than fivefold. While I can find flaws in anyone, including that student, it is difficult for me to say that the student's grade should be a C. Apart from the less than 0.01% of the community's comments, which excluded feedback from leadership of New York City's largest veteran service organizations, you have to do things positively in the fields of leadership, service delivery, collaboration, workforce development, digital government, and knowledge management to drive an organization towards an impactful place. We believe we are accomplishing that objective. Now, there are pro tips and findings worthy of being acknowledged in the scorecard, many of which we will get to. I want to make sure that we do not accept every single word written in the document as gospel. Like human beings, these things are messy. It is important to separate the wheat from the chaff in determining what is key as we look to improve the delivery of services to veterans in the city of New York. To reconcile the findings of the report between what select respondents communicated and how we see things at DVS. The, at most, 21 respondents, in my opinion, want DVS to be at maturity with its processes and systems right now, want DVS to receive enhanced resources to perform its work right now, and want DVS to fulfill the needs which can be seen in New York City's veteran community right now. This is all understandable and acceptable. We agree to those challenges. For DVS, we view things through the following lenses. How do we address current needs while operating in a land of constraints, doing the best we can with what we have? This is in light of limited resources triggered by the 2020 to 2023 COVID-19 pandemic and the 2022 to 2025 New York City migrant crisis. How can we address current needs being mindful of our entire charter? Per Chapter 75 of the New York City Charter, the NYC Department of Veteran Services is tasked to assist and inform veteran and military families in the areas of healthcare, housing, benefits, culture, education, and employment. How do we address current needs while looking to empower all veterans, not just those on one side of the bell curve? Next things we think about are how do we galvanize partners such that the onus to serve our brothers and sisters and their loved ones does not fall on one entity, but on all of us. City, state, federal, public, private, nonprofit, from domains including but not limited to academia, industry, government, the philanthropic space, entrepreneurship, and finance. Most significantly, while addressing current needs, which can be seen, how do we build an agency that can respond to the three existential challenges facing our community, needs that are comparatively unseen? Those existential challenges are, A, a majority of veterans do not self-identify. A reminder that the self-identification rate, according to the VA in FY23, was 34.3% nationwide, 29.8% in New York State, and 24.1% in New York City. B, the VA does not market its services. The FY26 budget for the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs is $441.3 billion. It is second only to the budget for the Defense Department. A line item specific to marketing appears nowhere in the VA's budget documents. For perspective, the VA's budget consists of 5 volumes with a total length of 1,588 pages. Not displaying a budget for marketing is a glaring and intentional error. C, the veteran population is declining. The VA projects an annual rate of decline of 1.82% nationally and 3.19% in New York State. Year-over-year census data suggests a 4.83% annual rate of decline in New York City. We need to persuade current New York City veterans to stay and transitioning active duty service members to live, learn, and work here. Established on April 8th, 2016, DVS is 9 years old. Our first 3 years of existence, 2016 to 2019, centered on logistically establishing ourselves as a department and functioning primarily as a referral agency. The last 6 years, 2020 to 2025, has seen the agency expand to become a referral and services institution. Our approach over the past several years to address current and existential challenges has been, 1, obtain veteran data so that we can learn who our constituents are. We've worked to obtain veteran information at the city, state, and federal levels. We also obtain veteran contact information from our own events and core programming. DVS leads other states in collaborating to obtain transitioning service member contact information from the Defense Department. This approach has enabled us to grow from having contact information for approximately 5,000 New York City veterans in 2019 to more than 150,000 veterans in 2025. 2, build offerings that inspire veterans and their loved ones to self-identify. Our direct services are housing, claims, and employment. We fill gaps not being filled in the existing ecosystem in each of those areas. Further, DVS continues to make referrals where applicable, as we have always done. Synergies, that is, programs with partners where 1 + 1 = 3. New policies and new laws passed are ways that we create new offerings, sharing the burden all around. Our hope, one of our many offerings, is strong enough to draw each veteran community member from darkness into the light. Examples of offerings that I'm speaking of include, but are not limited to, for healthcare, the Veteran Feeding Program provides food insecure veterans with access to meals, nyc.gov/vetfood. The Veteran Mental Health Coalition, a community of practice for mental health and social services professionals who currently and potentially will interact with military-connected New Yorkers, nyc.gov/vetmentalhealth. For housing, which is all at nyc.gov/vethousing, the Mitchell-Lama Veterans Preference Transparency. Now, veterans can see how many people are using the Mitchell-Lama Veterans Preference to be housed in each Mitchell-Lama development. This organically evens out the Veterans Preference wait lists for Mitchell-Lama housing. Hearing, vision, and mobility units in Housing Connect. DVS and the VA can sign off verifying service-connected hearing, vision, and mobility disabilities for veterans applying for disability set-aside units in Housing Connect. The Housing Connect Veterans Preference. There now exists a Veterans Preference in Housing Connect. Specifically, there's a 10% preference for municipal employees and U.S. military veterans. The VS Home Loan. A veteran who's eligible for Sony May in New York City, in the New York City region, Westchester, Long Island, and the 5 boroughs, needs to only provide 1% of the purchase price to purchase a house, condo, or co-op. Sony May, through participating lenders and in some cases the Hebrew Free Loan Society, provides financing to the veteran household to cover the remaining balance. This includes closing costs. In New York City, a household with 1 or 2 people is eligible for Sony May if their household income is $194,400 or less. A household with 3 or more people is eligible for Sony May if their household income is $226,800 or less. nyc.gov/homes for veterans. It benefits the Valone Veterans Initiative, a full-time Veterans of Foreign Wars veteran service officer, works out of each city council member's district office 1 day per month. nyc.gov/vetvalone. Mission Vet Check. Volunteers call more than 15,000 veterans per year to check in on them, thank them for the service, and make sure that they take advantage of the benefits and offerings. nyc.gov/vetcheck. For culture, the PFC Joseph P. Dwyer program, DVS supports more than 25 community-led, hyper-local wellness activities throughout New York City. Activities include, but are not limited to, chess, yoga, equine therapy, and pickleball. Each activity serves to normalize help-seeking behavior amongst veteran and military families. nyc.gov/vetdwyer. The Veteran Voices Project, a program which enables veteran community members to record their oral histories and archive the recordings with the Municipal Archives and Library of Congress. nyc.gov/vetvoices. In education, the Veteran Tuition Award Program expansion. As of this year, the scholarship provided by the State of New York to veterans, the Veterans Tuition Award, has been expanded to include combat and non-combat veterans. nyc.gov/vetstudents. The Military Family Advocate Program. Department of Education principals identify representatives, one per school, to be trained by DVS and serve as a liaison for military-connected students, staff, and faculty. nyc.gov/VetMFA. For employment, Vet Jobs. Vet Jobs is an aggressive care coordination specific to job seekers. Vet Jobs assesses a job seeker, determines the best employment and/or workforce development option for them, then connects the person to said opportunity. In situations where no other provider is able to assist the veteran, DVS steps in, providing direct support. This is often the case with veteran community members who are applying for public sector jobs and/or those who need to navigate New York City and New York State programs like NY Helps, 55A, 55B, and 55C, nyc.gov/vetjobs. The Veteran Business Leadership Association, an effort which provides veteran business owners with professional mentorship, technical assistance, certification support, networking opportunities, and promotion through being featured in our map of veteran and military spouse-owned businesses. nyc.gov/vetbizmap. More details in general are at nyc.gov/vetbusiness. And then 3, part of our approach to address existential challenges has been to continue refining our operations, processes, and core functions. There's been a great deal of growth since DVS was first established in 2016. Back then, into our first 3 years, the Department of Citywide Administrative Services, DCAS, effectively held our hands as we performed administrative duties such as payroll and timekeeping, human resources, information technology, fiscal operations, equal employment opportunity, legal, logistics, and compliance. Now, we do those things independently. From a process standpoint, key milestones that DVS has reached as of late are: A, the department is more active in processing City Council discretionary contracts. Starting in FY27, all City Council discretionary awards for veteran programs valued at $25,000 or less will be processed by the Department of Veteran Services. B, in FY26, DVS changed technology partners for our online services platform, VetConnect NYC. We now use a provider, Combined Arms, which is a for us, by us, veteran-owned and operated organization. The new VetConnect platform more easily dovetails with DVS, client, and community needs. To that point, all DVS workflows and procedures specific to client services are being captured in VetConnect. C, the department will execute its first multi-year master agreement contract complete with a list of winning vendors to support the PFC Joseph P. Dwyer program, funding for Dwyer program providers starting in FY27. To pan back, the charter for the agency tasks DVS to assist and inform veteran and military families in the areas of healthcare, housing, benefits, culture, education, and employment. Among other things, DVS has spent the past 9 years building the agency and establishing offerings in each charter-mandated space. We deliver those offerings through either providing direct services, once again, our direct services are housing, claims, and employment, making referrals, or collaborating with stakeholders to execute synergies. The meta strategy tied to our work is connect, mobilize, empower. Connect. We, DVS, and the broader veteran service ecosystem learn who the NYC veteran community is. Mobilize. The NYC veteran community learns who we are and what we have to offer. Once again, speaking beyond DVS, the we includes all who provide veteran services, benefits, and support. Empower. We serve them, veterans and their loved ones. These 3 phases, connect, mobilize, empower, have overlap. Some portion of them is always occurring at the same time. That being said, the principal energy of this agency in its first 9 years has been focused on connect, in addition to being born. We are in a period of transition as DVS shifts its focus to mobilize. Veterans will learn who we are doing mobilize because we now offer several things that can capture people's attention and draw them into the light. They can then be served by us. Our offerings are rooted in access, affordability, and opportunity. We've spent years building an apparatus that can absorb what comes when getting to the future state of empower. Empower at 100% means that you have maximum self-identification, coupled with maximum utilization of benefits, coupled with best-in-class execution of partnerships. We have been focused like a laser on building an ecosystem capable of performing at this level. For the scorecard on parks, the assessment team compared New York City to San Francisco, the Parks Department, The assessment team compared New York City to San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, and Minneapolis. In our space, because New York City is the only municipality with a Veteran Services Department, not a commission, board, or an office, we're home to so many veterans. The best organizations to compare us to at the state level are state level departments of veteran services for states with comparable veteran population sizes. Those are Iowa, whose Department of Veterans Affairs is 47 years old, Connecticut, 80 years old, New Mexico, 22 years old, and Vermont at least 107 years old. For context, New York State's DVS is 80. When you look at those peers, and most states and territories, few are built to attack the three existential problems the way that we are. Once again, the existential problems facing the veteran community are 1, low self-identification, 2, a lack of VA marketing, and 3, population decline. Few departments position themselves to be proactive like us with an eye towards engaging all veterans. The reason? There's reluctance to innovate in the face of resource constraints. With partners, you can build a network that is able to receive an influx of veteran service requests and resolve them as they come. Without partners, veteran service agencies find themselves in a chicken versus egg dynamic of, I don't want to aggressively market veterans benefits and services because I'm incapable of addressing a massive number of requests if they arrive. Our posture at DVS is both and. We market as we scale, so demand grows in step with capacity. We pair outreach with service readiness, then use what we learn from intake and fulfillment to tighten the loop. And we do it with partners so the system can absorb a surge, triage quickly, and keep faith with the people we bring in. Without that partner network, agencies become restrained. With it, you can create demand and meet it responsibly. That is what it means for us to be on offense and helping veterans and their families in New York City. When addressing the needs of today, we are endeavoring to build an agency and a broader veteran support ecosystem, which will make it easier for veterans to self-identify, live, learn, and thrive in the 5 boroughs decades from now, well into tomorrow. And I want to repeat, we're doing all of these things in support of the future and all New York City veterans, while presently achieving more than 3-fold growth in the number of veterans and their families served, more than 5-fold growth in the number of service requests we respond to, 48% growth in the number of public engagement events we attend promoting veteran resources, more than 2-fold growth in the number of visits to the DVS website, and a 59% increase in the number of homeless veterans and their families who receive housing through the DVS Veteran Peer Coordinator Program. Regarding the scorecard and our actions in response to its major critiques, things not already mentioned, the strategy for DVS, along with short, midterm, and long-term goals, now appears on the agency's website at nyc.gov/vetmission. The master digital strategy plan for DVS is posted on nyc.gov/vetmedia. The data sharing policy for DVS is posted on nyc.gov/vetreports. A formal feedback form can now be found at nyc.gov/vetcontact. A greater degree of case-related details and a smarter grouping of client requests and descriptions is incorporated into the combined arms technology that now undergirds VetConnect NYC. During this fiscal year, FY26, 6 positions were added to DVS's headcount, which will implicitly increase the level of quality assurance and quality control from an internal checks and balances standpoint. Those positions are 3 coordinators who have been added to our Housing Support Services team and 3 who have been added to our Veteran Support Services team, also known as the VA Claims Unit. During this fiscal year, 2 positions were added to DVS's headcount, which will explicitly increase the level of quality assurance and quality control of our reporting and actions. Those positions are VetConnect NYC Coordinator. One person will oversee, help optimize, and internally evaluate the flow of all of our VetConnect services and referrals. Senior Advisor for Operations. The Senior Advisor for Operations will provide command and control over the Housing Support Services team and the Veteran Support Services team. This will be an added layer of internal oversight, quality assurance, and quality control. Leaders of the VSS and HSS units will report to the Senior Advisor for Ops. Since the scorecard was published in April of 2025, DVS has executed agreements which allow us to share veteran contact information, broken down to the district level, with all community boards, borough presidents, and city and state legislators in New York City. One by one, we're currently executing similar agreements with federal elected officials. There's several benefits to doing this, one to point out, which addresses a scorecard criticism. If all of us, DVS, community boards, borough presidents, city council members, state assembly members, state senators, congressmen, senators, etc., if all of us send mailings to the veterans in our catchment areas at least one time per year, then we will have significantly amplified the level of non-digital outreach to older veterans in the community. I've just mentioned key areas of feedback where we are able to respond. Key areas where we were not able to respond or did not respond are: our Veteran Support Services team meets remotely and when needed in person physically with clients who are not able to meet during traditional business hours. This is a more efficient use of time and resources, one where we can flex to the veteran, meeting them closer to where they are as opposed to having members of our VSS team positioned in a stationary location on nights and weekends. DVS is unable to share its ideal number of employees. No agency can. We do not want to get in the way of or without knowing negatively impact delicate budget negotiations that are ongoing between the mayor and city council. These types of conversations transcend DVS and have ripple effects on other agencies and efforts. For that reason, it is above our level to explicitly weigh in on these matters when it comes to us. Recognizing these constraints, we endeavor to be as open and transparent as possible on all other veteran services-related issues. We pray that our participation in these Veterans Committee hearings, of which there are 9 to 11 hearings per year, we attend all hearings from start to finish, provide council members and the public with an accurate depiction of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for our agency and New York City's veteran community as a whole. The Department of Veteran Services follows New York City human rights law. As of 2017, the law prevents discrimination on the basis of being or having been a uniformed services member. This means that DVS as an employer cannot discriminate against someone for being a member of the uniformed services. Conversely, we cannot discriminate against someone for not being a member of the uniformed services. We hire the best person for each job. We promote our job openings to the veteran community, posting them in our weekly newsletter and sharing them with veteran and military spouse-focused workforce development partners. That said, these opportunities are also found on nyc.gov/jobs. That website, City Jobs, is the official portal for all who seek employment with the City of New York. All are welcome and encouraged to apply to work at DVS. For perspective, when looking at the number of veteran employees at DVS compared to our authorized strength, 34% of our headcount as of this month is filled by veterans. That is 17 out of 50 positions. The next closest agency to DVS in this metric is the FDNY at 8.4%, followed by the Sanitation Department at 5%, followed by the NYPD at 4.8%, followed by the Department of Corrections at 4.7%. While 34% of DVS employees have served in the U.S. military, 25% of U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs employees have served in the armed forces as of September 2024, based on the most recent available data. 70% of the veterans employed at DVS are community coordinators. 3 of our employees, or 6%, are military spouses. As mentioned in the report, DVS holds annual veteran summits, roundtables with specific groups, i.e. veteran street vendors, housing advocates, mental health providers, Hispanic veterans, etc. We attend community board meetings. We have a Contact the Commissioner page on the DVS website. We proctor a military community survey every 2 to 4 years. We participate in all NYC Veterans Advisory Board meetings, and we hold 3 to 5 community engagement sessions each year. For community engagement sessions, along with advertising the virtual sessions in our newsletter, on social media, and the DVS website, we invite more than 240 community benefits organizations, more than 160 veteran service organizations, and the staffs of all city, state, and federal legislative officials who represent New York City to attend. Separate from individual stakeholder meetings, we attended more than 300 public events in FY25. The council engaged 21 people about DVS. For the subset of those 21 respondents who have issues with the agency, there are several forms through which that feedback can be shared, including completing our newly created feedback form, which is located at nyc.gov/vetcontact. The NYC Veterans Advisory Board is an example of a group that had feedback about DVS operations, which we responded to. The City Council hearing held on September 22nd, 2025 about the VAB illustrated our response. Our memo responding to the 2024 Veterans Advisory Board report can be found at nyc.gov/vetboard. If these advocates, and I do not believe I've seen all the people referenced in the report attend City Council hearings, we don't know who they are. If these advocates do not want to meet with us, do not wish to engage DVS directly, and do not wish to attend DVS-connected activities or other veteran forums where they can provide feedback and will be present, then we encourage them to continue communicating with us through the council. We have no issues if you choose to do this discreetly. We ask that you continue to be part of the conversation. To all who offered feedback to the agency through this scorecard, there is value in saying something. Thank you for what you did. Look no further than the developments that have arisen from this report to see that you have a voice. Reflecting on all that has been said thus far, the long view to me. First, a child is a different person every 6 months. DVS, relatively a child in New York City government, is 9 years old. We are a growing, learning, and self-correcting organization. Add to that, building programs where government is involved and there are resource constraints is a process. This is not to mention that a majority of our clients do not self-identify as veterans. And growing to reach maturity, these things take time. For an advocate who took issue with something they saw from DVS at a specific moment at age 3, we need to acknowledge that age 3 is not the same as age 5, which is not the same as 7, which is not the same as 9 or 10 or beyond. For those observing us, please ask the rhetorical questions. Is DVS listening to feedback? Is the agency correcting itself? Are they improving? Second, in public service and in government, historically, there's a lag between when a policy innovation is executed and when it penetrates and is fully realized by those who would benefit from it. I think that's where we are right now. You will see a situation very soon where more veterans come to us. Us equals all in the veteran services ecosystem for help getting money from the VA, for access to veterans' affordable housing, and for life-changing employment and entrepreneurial opportunities, among other amenities. This is already happening in real time. Viewing it from the outside, it's hard for some to distinguish a direct service from a referral from a synergy. Based on how things traditionally work, it's easy to say all this should and likely is being done by DVS, when in actuality, we are executing a team approach. An outsider views these synergies and offerings and assumes DVS is doing too much, they're spread too thin, when in reality, our partners are performing the heavy lifting. Moreover, if all that we did was focus on the basics and not put these offerings together, then at best, we would increase New York City's veteran self-identification rate from 24.1% to the national average of 34.3%, putting aside the issue of veteran population decline. But we're not putting that issue aside, and we're not settling for 34.3%. Our goal is to punch through the target and reach 100% veteran self-identification. As surely as a goal in the veteran community is to bring the veteran unemployment rate to zero, the veteran suicide rate to zero, and the veteran homeless population to zero, we will settle for nothing less when it comes to the number of veterans in New York City who do not self-identify. We want that number to be zero as well. This means that all veterans will tell people that they have served. They will allow themselves to receive earned benefits, honors, and services. We're committed to accomplishing that goal. We're playing for the long term. We're coming for everybody. To the veterans, you committed to protect all of us. We commit to serve all of you. We are so grateful to the Speaker and the Council for being on this journey with us. Despite some of our issues with the report, it means the world to us that you have dedicated these resources and time towards DVS being our best. It was an honor to be the first in this process. As I said, any day when we're talking about veterans is a good day. A separate topic, recognizing that this is the end of the year and the end of the administration's term. For the record, things that the City Council has done well and things where collectively there can be improvement in the eyes of DVS follow. First, the great things. Expanding the Veterans Advisory Board to include veteran family members. Codifying Vet Connect NYC. Passing Local Law 37, which includes veteran identifier questions on client-facing city forms. Creating the Valone Veterans Initiative, which has a VFW-accredited veteran service officer working each council member's district office, delivering services to their constituents once per month. Passing Intro 740 of 2024, the Cold War Veterans Property Tax Exemption, which will become law this month. Valued at $10 million per year, this is the largest city investment into the veteran community since the creation of DVS. It is larger than that by a dollar amount. And then growing DVS by 25% manpower-wise with the adopted FY26 budget, and then the City Council scorecard process. Areas of improvement. To council members who have not done so yet, please reach out to DVS or the Council Connect team to obtain contact information for the veterans in your district. Ask the Local Law 37 questions on constituent intake forms at your district offices. Those questions are, paraphrasing, have you or a member of your household ever served in the U.S. Armed Forces? If so, do you consent to being contacted by DVS? Formally add veteran representation to the Street Vendor Advisory Board. Codify the Veteran Business Leadership Association. Increase council discretionary funding to veteran-serving nonprofits. With the exception of the Valone Veterans Initiative, which we are eternally grateful for, there was no increase to the level of Schedule C funding dispersed in the field of veteran services from FY23 through FY26. Have all groups that receive city tax levy dollars to serve the veterans communicate with DVS so that at a minimum, we can work with them to enhance their outreach. Beyond that, we can also provide those who need it with military cultural competency training and other support. And then for the few city council district offices that have not yet scheduled recurring office hours with the VFW in support of the Valone Veterans Initiative, please do so. Lastly, I want to thank the Veterans Committee of the City Council for its service. Acknowledging committee members Chair Robert Holden, Councilmember Christy Marmorato, Councilmember Vicky Palladino, Councilmember Joanne Ariola, Councilmember Sandy Nurse, and Councilmember Simca Felder. Thank you for your leadership. To the departing members, Chair Holden and Councilmember Marmorato, thank you for your service. This is not goodbye. Once a member of the veteran community, always a member. Please continue to contribute to the conversation about what we can do to help U.S. military service members past and present, along with their caregivers, survivors, and families. Finally, the NYC Department of Veteran Services can be reached via telephone at 212-416-5250. Say it again, 212-416-5250. Email at connect@veterans.nyc.gov. Once again, connect@veterans.nyc.gov. Online at nyc.gov/vets. Once again, it's nyc.gov/vets. and through social media using the handle at NYC Veterans. Once again, the handle is at NYC Veterans. God bless you, God bless the city of New York, and God bless America. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. You saved the best for last. That was really enlightening, and I want to say hard hitting, because I would not disagree with anything you said. And the fact that anytime you try to grade an agency that's woefully underfunded by everyone, what you just mentioned about the member initiatives or discretionary funding, we've been fighting, this committee's been fighting to try to increase that. We haven't been successful. And, but I also, both sides of City Hall have not supported a DVS. And I'll say that for the record. And I'll say that, I said that to the mayor, I said that to the speaker, and that's a shame. And it's a shame because if we put the money into DVS, we would see an increase not only in veteran support services from the VA and from other agencies, but it would certainly help the tax base. Our veterans would get more money, and that would certainly help New York City and, of course, veterans. So your testimony was enlightening and true. And I thank you again for your service. I could not think of a better commissioner to work with in my 4 years on this committee as chair. And I think everybody will agree with that who's worked with you. So again, that's neither here nor there at this point, because I'm going to ask some questions, but you answered a lot of them in the testimony, because I have a few questions here about leadership, strategy, and direction. And you answered you published the report card, recommended that DVS publish short and long-term agency strategic plans, and you've done that on your website. You obviously the stakeholders, VSOs and CBOs and service members contributed. In looking at the and the scorecard, again, it's subjective. I wouldn't have given the agency a C, but that's me, because I know what the agency's up against. I know the expanded roles that you've taken from referral to obviously a lot more. And you mentioned about growing as an agency and comparing it to state agencies is unfair. So I think your assessment is right on. And just the fact that we expanded the veteran resource centers and trying to get more flexible with the hours and doing more on that, it was very important. Tell me about, now you mentioned a budget. We had talked about this before, like a budget that you should have. If we doubled the budget, it still wouldn't be enough, I think. That means, so if we got $5 million, you were allocated $5+ million each year, and then I think now it's $7 million.
Yes,
a little more than that. But to reach every one of the 200,000 veterans, I would think we'd have to quadruple, and to do a regular mailing. But as far as what you mentioned about council members helping and this committee helping, I think certainly we could do a mailing to all the veterans. Our council can do it. That we could try to get them to self-identify and just try to say that and make a case of why they should self-identify. So I think this council, before they assess an agency that's woefully underfunded, should get their own house in order. That if we're going to be part of a solution, that we should help out more. And how many council offices have taken you up on the veteran resources.
As far as the loan initiative,
Yes.
it's right now it is in 41 out of 51 council member offices,
So
and right now we're
10
working
council
with
members have not even contacted.
and it's a back and forth right now. Just get that time scheduled as far as when they want to have that person in there in a recurring way. So right now,
Right.
41 out of 51 council members have it. 10 we're currently working with, Mr. Chair. Us and the VFW. And we've been tying in with the council finance team too, recognizing this is a contract from, so we're all working together to try to get to 51 out of 51.
You answered about 13 of my questions because we just assessed. I'm looking at it. I'm reading what my scripted questions have been. I don't want to waste your time or anybody else's time. But how did DVS implement call tracking software to monitor when calls are returned and to track when a case is closed?
So I'll start this now. Ask Donnie to help me out with finishing this. We already track these things as far as using it's the mainline call volume report we use that flows into, our
The
systems.
software, though? Do you have software?
I'm gonna ask Donnie to kind of help me out with. Yeah.
Donnie Smalls. While DVS does not currently have an automated call tracking software, we do monitor response time performance.
Okay, but would that help if we had it?
Yes.
Okay, so it would make because you don't have a lot of personnel. Like we don't have. I think many of the DVS employees are doing a lot of different things, and they're just one. So that software, if you could look at that and Commissioner find out and ask the council or in your budget and put that in there because that would help.
And I want to be clear. Right now it's manually inputted as far as when that person's made that first call to us. That's what we're talking about as far as bridging that gap. But right now it's manually something. So we capture when someone does call. Let's say someone calls on a night or on a weekend or a time when we don't have some man on the phone. We capture that, and then once we do have the person come back.
I know, but if we had software,
but it's manually been captured.
But if we had software that actually would log it, and I think and then even remind DVS about it's been 20 days or whatever, and you just remind that person, it would help follow through and follow up. So I think anything again, this is what we need in the way of resources. And so you did so the report recommended that DVS should audit its internal processes through a continuity of care lens in order to track its services in a holistic way. It recommended DVS create veteran profiles for veteran DVS encounters, which you said you just did.
Mm-hmm.
So has DVS created a veteran profiles that were recommended in the report? You've done that.
The new Vet Connect, yes, the Combined Arms Iteration Vet Connect now.
And what does that look like?
It's more of the idea of being able to have an account, so a username login for you when you log on as a community member who is going to be using Vet Connect, and that you can always come back to it, so we can be able to access that profile. The prior system didn't do that. The prior system that asked you, they wanted to say, okay, give me your phone number, give me some basics, and then it would not create a profile, though. You had to, every request was starting from scratch from the veteran's perspective, whereas now a veteran who will have worked with us for, say, years can look back and say, okay, well, I can see everything a part of my journey working with DVS, and we can too.
So in the report, we recommended relationships building and collaboration with groups. And how has DVS improved its relationship building efforts since the report card was issued?
I think what's tough about that is I push back on the premise that things were broken. I think of it as more so that we've been on a constant arc of improvement as far as reaching out and engaging different communities. And so since the report was published, it's 265 events that we've attended since it was published. You've had 2 community engagement community engagement sessions since the report was published. We should do 3 to 5 per year. You've had multiple. There was a major summit that we had at Citi Field. We had a Veterans Film Festival. We've had for record attendance for our most recent Veterans Day breakfast, which is 659 folks attended. There have been just various other things. And I'll throw to Nicole, too, to add to this as far as just the penetration.
Thank you, Chair Holden and City Council members. I'm Nicole Orlando. So for us also, separate of just the events that Commissioner mentioned, what approach we have taken is focusing on the employment, entrepreneurship, and education space. So make sure we're really targeting those areas. And separate of any events that we've attended, spoken on, collaborated with, we have facilitated 25 unique employment events, 12 unique entrepreneurship-based events, 10 education-focused events, and we've also facilitated 2 TAPS courses on base at Fort Wadsworth.
And there's more we can add to this, but it's this idea. This is since the report. So this is for us. It's we are continuing to do what we do, but with just the volumes continuing to increase with this. This is it's not
So
necessarily.
what have you, going to all these events, what have you learned in the way of, have you learned some new areas that you weren't aware of, that, and the feedback that you're getting from some of the older veterans?
And I want to add, you've got the survey also, as far as the veteran military community and family survey, where the top 3 things, or the things that we have as our direct services, are housing, which is the greatest need in the community. Then claims, which is another one as far as that's helping giving someone economic, money in your pocket. And then employment is something that's come as something where we've seen gaps in the employment ecosystem. We're filling them right now. Those are things that really come from interacting with the community and just constantly taking in all this input. But I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I think what we've noticed is that being out there in the community more makes the community feel safer to come to us with other things that they need assistance with. So a lot of the times with the student veterans, we're on campus, we're going to their events, they feel comfortable to come to us and say, hey, I'm graduating soon, I need a job. Or to come to us and say, hey, I was thinking about starting a business, or I may need housing support. So I think it's our presence just gives them that comfort to reach out when they need something.
Yeah, you see more people where it's multiple things. Where they realize you can help me with this. Then it just you folks see all that we've got to offer between us and partners, and are really embracing it.
Yeah, I mean, just if we had more personnel in DVS, we could hire more people to cover some of these community-based organization meetings, and so it's actually it goes with the budget. But because we just how do you go to there could be like 5 meetings a night in each of the boroughs, let's say, and I know you go to all the boroughs, and I don't know where you get the energy, but you do it because every time I call you, you're at some other event, so it's not certainly not noticed. But have you conducted DVS conducted a workload analysis to determine the optimal staffing? Have you ever done that?
We did it before the last hearing, but this goes back to the point where I can't speak directly on what we think the ideal number is. We went through this. That's why I had that part in testimony.
I know,
but we've done it internally.
But I think we need to do it coming on. The beginning in like certainly starting the beginning of the year. If we can assess that and just see what would be an ideal personnel strength to communicate and to follow up with, communications and because I do hear from some veterans, and it might be the same individuals sometimes, who say that DVS doesn't follow up. I say, well, did you follow up, or did you call them back, or the person didn't know, and you get complaints like that. I mean, that's from the general public, not only veterans. We hear it from in our offices, but. I have to take DVS off that list of agencies that don't follow up because, again, you're a small agency and you're obviously overwhelmed. If, like you said, you've been increasing your services, but yet your budget hasn't increased.
Mr. Chair, I don't think you take us off the list. We should be held accountable like anybody else we follow.
No, I know, I get that.
Don't take us off that list. There's
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there's not to blame the agency DVS necessarily. I think we have to look at the administration, the mayor, and of course the city council administration, who haven't supported DVS like they could have, and that's what this committee has been saying all along, or they should have. So with additional positions that we had talked about and hopefully added. You did add some in fiscal year 26. Can you walk us through DVS's recruitment process and the status of the new positions that you've gotten?
I'll say a little bit. I really want Donna and Nicole to be able to get in on this. The larger way that I look at it is our head count is at 50 right now. and we've hired, we have a group that's going to start this coming Monday. Once that group starts, we'll be back to having 6 slots not filled. So, when you get to Monday, you'll be at 44 as far as the total number of folks in the agency. And we're looking at filling those 6 slots. The 6 slots not yet filled. We have 2 housing coordinator seats that we still need to fill. We have the Queens Veteran Support Services seat, or claims coordinator seat for Queens. You've got the Intergovernmental Affairs representative, or the director of IGA. You've got the chauffeur, who a recent person just recently retired, and you have the Vet Connect NYC coordinator. So you've got those 6 slots that we're yet to fill. And then to go back, as far as the new needs, to speak to what was added, it was 9 and then 10 added as far as what came from the adopted budget, and a recent addition of a 10th add to the agency. 3 for housing, 3 for the claims team, 1 for outreach, 1 to help just with the barrels, as far as barrels coordination for our veterans, 1 for Vet Connect coordinator, and then that senior advisor for operations. So you have those 10 as far as new needs, but really it's about being a spot. We've got 6 more roles that have yet to be unfilled
All
at
right,
DVS.
but have things improved with response times, let's say, because of the extra funding or extra resources?
Absolutely. I'll say it like this: we always say we can do more with more, and one example is just having a full-time receptionist. If you think about when the council scorecard, the coverage period, we didn't have a full-time receptionist on staff at the time. We do now, and that is, as opposed to it being a mission where one day be one person, one day be another person. It was constantly revolving between our claims and housing folks, but now having someone full-time, and so that's an example how with more staff you can just see just stronger performance.
Have you, as DVS, consulted with DCAS or the law department on lawful avenues to increase veteran representation in the agency workforce?
For us, we have to follow city human rights law. So we can't discriminate and say, I'm not going to give you this job because you're not a veteran. At the same time, we do what we can to get these job opportunities out in front of all who would let our community know between what we do and other vehicles.
So we can't say that we can't say that veterans are preferred.
Yeah, I can't. It's
Can't do that, but we could certainly have the person interviewing ask the question, "Are you a veteran?" Which we do. We have that law, but
I can add that law. That's for intake. So if I'm going to be served by, I'm filling the initial intake form to receive services from a department. They can ask, "Have you or a member of your household served? We'd like to be contacted by DVS." But we cannot discriminate on the basis of uniform services status. Meanwhile, we're at 34% of the agency is veteran, which is higher than the VA.
No, your agency, but I'm talking about.
Go get it. Sorry,
So we also have collaborated with DCAS in general with increasing the number of veterans in civil service. So in June, DCAS accepted our proposal, which allows applicants who have left New York to go to service to qualify for residency credit, even if they're not located here because they're deployed, to get those credits for civil service.
That's great. That's great. Yeah.
And then in addition to that, what we do
Whose
is...
idea was that? Come on. That was good.
That was Nicole's idea. That was Nicole's idea.
So that's something that we felt we were hearing a lot of stories from veterans who were trying to get down that civil service path, specifically with FDNY, NYPD. And what we felt was there's something more that needed to be done. And we're very grateful to our partners at DCAS who helped us with that. And even in addition to that, one of the hats I wear is our employment lead here. And what we do is to make sure that anytime DVS has open positions, or any other city agencies for that matter, we ensure that we're promoting them on social media directly to our veterans and ensuring that our screened and qualified candidates that we work with already on employment are notified about these opportunities and almost matched. And then separate of that, we are a proud SkillBridge partner and VA Work Study site, which allows active duty service members and veteran students to serve on our team as ancillary staff members.
Can I add one other thing? I feel like the next fight, by the way, as far as if you look at what's ahead, what are we doing as far as our military spouses? We're doing as far as our surviving spouses when it comes to access to city employment. And so that's something you'll see, I pray that we see more of in the days ahead. So beyond just about veterans, but also about those who are the spouses of the vets and those surviving spouses. So, yeah.
And then let's talk about digital government. You mentioned in your prior testimony that many of the report card's recommendations relating to digital strategy would be accomplished via the launch of VetConnect. Now that VetConnect is online, have you conducted any user testing with older veterans, disabled veterans, or veterans who don't have access to digital literacy? So if so, what user testing has been conducted, and what user testing does DVS plan to do moving forward?
We've really just begun user testing. It's been conducted by our IT team. It's in progress right now, so I don't have a response at this time on it. So once we know more, we'll be able to circle back, Mr. Chair. But it's in progress, but it's just started for us.
But what have you learned from the first few months of VetConnect? I mean, just generally.
So right now we're in the process of it launched July of this year. So FY26 launched. When we're still improving it, nipping and tucking it, because it's a new platform for us. The user experience is a piece that we're working on, as far as making sure that the fonts are certain ways, or that there's certain programs located in different places, and so making it as easy as possible for the service providers, for veterans and staff to use. So a lot of it has been user experience related feedback we've been getting as of late.
So, but what feedback have you been getting from people, or even staff? What is, do you get recommendations from staff?
Right now, I'd say one, and I want to throw to Danae on this, is about as far as the having things be located in a convenient place when someone goes through the platform, so it's an organic experience. But
Yes. And for the housing team, because we monitor so many different areas in housing, that we want to make sure that the data is captured correctly. So we're giving input to our IT team so they can take back to the end users to let them know how to separate each housing category.
yeah, the old VetConnect didn't capture all the workflows, and so this is a new one where we can capture all of our workflows from all of our teams,
Yes.
which is really a game changer.
Does VetConnect track resolution time?
It
Yes.
does.
Mhm.
Yes.
It does.
I have to flag, though, one thing to point out is, depending on the unit, these cases take time. Something can go to the claims team, take a couple of weeks as far as getting that claim submitted, and all that's about, will a veteran get us certain information too so we can help them? But then housing, you could have some cases that take months.
Yes.
And so, and employment too, it could take weeks. It's just, so some of these cases, depending on, these are nuanced. So I just want to call that out. But yes, the new system does track the times, the resolution times.
All right. So, what would you say? I mean, you mentioned 15 pages of testimony, but you mentioned things that you've improved. But what would you say is the biggest change at DVS since the report was issued?
Size of the agency, by far, I'd say that's
Sorry?
the size of the agency.
Sorry.
The
Okay.
size, 39 when that report was released, we're at 50 right now as far as the authorized size. I think that's the biggest change. And then other things I'd mention, I'd add the sharing of data with our elected officials as far as our legislative electeds, our council members, our state assembly members, our state senators. We're working through the federal electeds. I think that's a game changer because each of you are community leaders. And so if we have this line of communication with you, and then you know who your veterans are, that's powerful. And I think that's a huge change that's occurred since the
Well,
report.
that's how we should, again, we should communicate on the district, council district level, and really kick it to the council. If your budget doesn't include or excludes your agency from communicating on a regular basis, certainly help from other agencies. And one would be, I would say, the city council should be the first place to look. And I think we could do so much more on a local level.
I have to say, Mr. Chair, just so we mentioned the size of the agency, we mentioned the data sharing, which I believe is a game changer. I need to call out, employment has just been growing it's just coming into its own as a direct service, because we realize that there's so many gaps in the employment ecosystem. We're trying to just sit in and plug them, and that's something that's been a change that's just been kind of evolving in a certain direction. It's been jackknifing.
So you say, since the report, you've done a good job at DVS in implementing some of the recommendations, what you can do with the budget that you have. Would you say that?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So that was I have a few questions on that, but I won't ask them now. So, is there anything else that you would like the council to know about DVS's implementation of the report card recommendations before I let you go?
I want to reiterate, this is like a dual strategy for us where we're focusing on today and the future. And so when you look at what we're doing, we're being mindful of the current needs, but also being mindful of, remember, these existential challenges are real. As far as you see me, there are three people you don't see. You see Donna, there are three people you don't see. How do we get at the identification, or get at this marketing issue, or get at, we need to, it's an Amazon HQ2 fight that we're in with other municipalities and states to convince the veterans to live, learn, and work here. So how do we win that? So that dual strategy, I'd say. Another one I mentioned is just that the meta strategy, if you will, is connect, mobilize, empower. Connect, we learn who the veterans are. Mobilize, the veterans learn who we are. Empower, we serve them. And then the last thing I'd ask anyone who's part of this process who sees this to think about is how can you support this? You know, if you're someone who's either in government, or if you're someone who's a stakeholder or someone externally looking, okay, how can I get in the game as far as being able to help with any of these synergies, or being perhaps a partner on the referrals, or being able to support in other ways? And so, like I said, all of us owe something to these men and women of the armed forces. So we just ask that this is a team sport, that people be proactive, not reactive, in contributing to the solution.
All right, and I like your testimony, what you said. You're not going to stop it if you got to the national average of self-identifying veterans at, was it 34.3%? We're 10 percentage points behind that national average, which is alarming. And that should be the number one goal of any administration, mayoral administration, city council administration, is to try to get more veterans to self-identify and put that money into communicating with them. Because I said on the back end, and what you had said, is that New York City would be a better place, actually a better, our veterans would get more services from the VA, definitely, if they self-identified and if they knew what was available. And I talked about this so many times because my field was communications in my previous life here, before the council. And I always thought government doesn't communicate very well. Certainly, I think you would agree, the VA, in fact, you said that in your testimony, VA doesn't communicate very well. Their budget is huge, but they don't put money into communications like they should. But that also is New York City is also to blame on that. Mm-hmm. We have tons of services that we don't communicate well with our constituents. So I think, again, it's been a pleasure working with you, Commissioner, and your staff. Like I said, I miss Jason, by the way, Lockman, who's we saw him on the street.
Down the street, his office.
We couldn't get his attention today. We did see him go by on Broadway, and again, he's a friend, and I consider you a friend because of all the great work that you've done, and I certainly support your efforts and hope you stay on as commissioner. That's a little plug that I could say, and I'm outgoing, but I hope you stay and continue the fight. And I want to thank you all, the staff and of DVS. And I would say that the report card wasn't accurate. I would have given you an A+ because of the effort that you've done. And I just see the schedule that your staff and you are, and all the things that you've accomplished. And this is a good document. Your testimony is a good document on the last few years. Certainly, and since the report card, and I do agree that the report card, you shouldn't take on something like this to evaluate a very small agency. I know why they picked DVS first, because you were the smallest. So this was a test. They haven't done this, and they took the smallest, and I wasn't surprised at that. I even said, I know why you're picking DVS, but if you're going to do it, you have to do it right. And if you're going to interview 21 stakeholders, there has to be a wide range of stakeholders from different areas that you accurately pointed out that weren't interviewed. And I know I didn't know many that were interviewed. So I wouldn't take that personally, and I wouldn't take it as a knock on DVS. In fact, I think it's more of a knock on this council. But I want to thank you, Commissioner. Again, it's been a pleasure working with you. And thanks again for your testimony.
Thank you for your leadership, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Okay, all right. So I'm going to now open the hearing for public testimony. I remind members of the public that this is a formal government proceeding and that decorum shall be observed at all times. As such, members of the public shall remain silent at all times. The witness table is reserved for people who wish to testify. No video recording or photography is allowed from the witness table. Further, members of the public may not present audio or video recordings as testimony, but may submit transcripts of such recordings to the Sergeant at Arms for inclusion in the hearing record. If you wish to speak at today's hearing, please fill out an appearance card. They look like this, with the Sergeant at Arms, and wait to be recognized. When recognized, you will have 3 minutes to speak on today's hearing topic, and an update. The hearing topic is an update on implementing recommendations from the City Council Report Card Initiative. Other topics will not be honored, so we will hear all in-person testimony first and then turn to testimony on Zoom. And how many people we have on Zoom so far? None so far, okay. If you have a written statement or additional written testimony you wish to submit for the record, please provide a copy of that testimony to the Sergeant at Arms. I'll now call the first panel. Dr. Urbina Moody, Timothy Pena, and what is it? ENZ? Eric A. Perez. Is that Eric?
I think so. I can't tell.
Okay. Dr. Moody, you want? Okay. The what? Oh, you want to? Okay, you want to get yourself. Okay, so Mr. Perez, you want to start? Do you want?
Well, I wanted to say that my topic really doesn't have anything to do with what has transpired with DVS or the city council, and I would just, I guess, want to make a short statement about a situation that concerns all veterans and all citizens of the United States of America. So, so I do realize that this is not a topic that is submissible. I did submit it via the testimony email. My name is Eric Andrew Perez. I'm a service-connected, disabled, honorably discharged Marine Corps veteran. I'm a former member or a resident of Borden Avenue homeless shelter, so I've been there. I have firsthand knowledge of it. But I wanted to speak to you guys a little bit today about my experience with COVID-19 and the AstraZeneca trials that happened within the Veterans Affairs Administration. So 2020, I was an essential worker at Fresh Direct. I participated in something called the AZD 122 COVID-19 trials at the Veterans Affairs Administration located at 423 East 23rd Street and First Avenue. Subsequent to my participation, after my first dose and second dose, I developed blood clots, severe blood clotting due to my participation in AstraZeneca. Since then, I have developed neurological conditions, migraine headaches, fatty liver disease, and basically I've had to fend for myself within actually bringing federal litigation against AstraZeneca and the Veterans Affairs Administration.
So this was a sponsored VA program,
Correct, sir.
and how did they recruit you?
So basically, I was referred to by the team of my doctors, so my primary care physician within the VA.
And the doctor recommended that you do this testing.
So correct. The only
Were
way
you
for
compensated by?
no, well, I mean, we don't really get compensated. I mean, it's kind of like $100 or something like that. But in order for me to participate or go back to work within Fresh Direct as an essential worker, I was required to, I guess, have a form of the COVID-19 vaccine. And since the VA was actually providing my care at the time, they were only providing the COVID-19 vaccine to I guess veterans that were 65 and over. So my best bet to actually receive that vaccine was to participate in this study.
And this
Now,
is 2020 that started.
yes, 2020
That's
is
the beginning of the COVID. Yeah.
yes, sir. Since then, AstraZeneca has actually not received any type of uh, approval for their COVID 19 product within America, and it has subsequently pulled its COVID 19 vaccine from the world market.
Yeah. How many veterans were recruited? Do you know? Were you with other veterans?
From this facility, I have no information on that. I have actually submitted several Freedom of Information Act requests that have been denied. So the study overall, according to the NIH data, which is actually public information, they have about 32,000 participants worldwide. They have 78, I believe it was 68 facilities within the United States that were actually participating. The zip codes that they actually provide line themselves up with active duty military bases and Veterans Affairs Administration actual buildings.
Yeah.
I've been denied on every single facet of them. They basically just state that they don't want to give me that information due to the fact that it was going to be used for some sort of development of a future product.
Well, I'd like to hear more about this, so I'll give you my contact information after the hearing, and we could somehow. I'd like to learn more about this because I didn't know, and this is something that we should look at. How many veterans were affected by this, and what are some of the negative effects that? I mean, they were testing on veterans, and you know, and I don't know how the VA got involved in this. We need to look at that. So.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks for
Thank
your
you, sir.
testimony.
Thank you for
Let's
having me.
connect. My chief of staff's in the back. Maybe you can connect with him after your testimony.
Thank you.
You can sit
All
right
right.
there. Thank you. You ready now, or okay? Go ahead.
Thank you.
Just like,
Yep, I'm Dr. Ervinia Moody, MD, PhD, JD, and MBA, LLC. I want to thank you all for, first of all, being here today. I had a situation where I actually may be off the topic, but I'm an active duty military veterans, as well as all honorable services, and also as a first 9/11 first responder. I actually worked with NASA, Tuskegee University, MIT, Harvard, and worked on the first ever CAR T FDA breakthrough for cancer and leukemia and all of that. What I happened was I was in a housing situation where I had home invasion. These were gangs that came into the building. I did reach out to Attorney Leela James, and they were aware that the building had been taken over at my property. So they got access to that information, everything that I worked for, done, information, pertinent information. As a result of that, I developed and did work and have my own real estate and all my buildings and things of that nature. So they got access to the buildings, and the police NYPD told me that they're posing as me. I am military and police trained at Seegert. Matter of fact, I spoke to one of the NYPDs yesterday who also trained at Seegert. As a result of that, I also got mislabeled. One of the individuals who mislabeled me at another facility, which the hospital closed down recently, told me, in other words, I told her I worked at NASA, this is going on. She said she documented as these are gangs. And then I told her NASA. So she said paranoid. So because of that, that allowed them to continue to steal money. And she got money off of the work. The FDA approved CAR T that I worked on. So I'm out continuing going to the FBI, CIA, served my country. And people are looking at me like, why are you outside the building? And they're inside living as you. And why didn't the NYPD go inside, find out how they're
What
posing?
borough was this?
This is Queens and New York.
Have you gone to the DA?
I've gone to everyone. Police reports and everything. I have. I
All right,
have
well,
my
I'll
mail.
get your information.
Okay.
We'll follow through with the Queens DA.
Okay,
whose
and
office
Manhattan.
is very good, and we could put you in touch with their veterans person too.
Okay, and the Manhattan VA as well, because what happened is, and I know that I'm going to go on this, is that I actually was told by the FBI that, and they also, one of the gang members came on the train, knew when I came on the train, and asked me, am I going to come pick up my mail? So they've been stealing packages and everything of that nature.
So let's because I don't want to get more
no, I just wanted
information.
to
No, I don't
give
want to
you-
have this public without
okay.
protecting
Got
you first.
you.
All right. So,
Okay, got
all
you.
right,
And
thank
I'm
you.
also going to say this. I am also have my own products and all around the universe, all around the world. I am the daughter of granddaughter of Dr. George Washington Carver, the Peanut Man,
Wow.
and my father Irvin, who did numerous paintings and all of that. But I have my own products and all of that, and I have not connected with these people, but I'm grateful for their services. But I've done my own entrepreneurship and my own work.
All right,
So
great.
thank
Well,
you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for your testimony. Timothy?
First off, my name is Timothy Pena. I'm the founder of the Veterans Justice Project, an advocacy organization dedicated to ensuring dignity, safety, and lawful treatment for veterans navigating homelessness and housing transition in our city. I'm also a member of the New York City Continuum of Care as a veteran with lived experience. I wanted to, well, let me do this first. Today, I submit this testimony with urgency and concern at the Borden Avenue Veterans Residence, the only VA-funded grant and per diem transitional housing program in New York City for VA-eligible veterans are living in, VA-eligible veterans are living in conditions that violate federal GPD policy and, in many cases, their basic rights. Borden Avenue currently houses veterans in a commingled environment with non-veteran residents experiencing active addiction and severe mental illness under the city's Nycc mentally ill, chemically addicted framework. This endangers veterans in our recovery, especially those with PTSD or a history of substance abuse disorder, and undermines the federal intent of GPD as a structured, sober program for stabilization of veterans in transition. Veterans who report violence, drug use, or unsafe conditions are often punished, not protected. Many are removed from the GPD program and therefore disconnected from HUD-VASH permanent housing pipeline, effectively restarting their homeless journey. The exclusion of women veterans from Borden Avenue altogether further illustrates how discriminatory and outdated this model has become. There are no women programs in New York City. There's no place for her to go. There are currently no veterans on the New York City Council. That's not something that we can do about. But this makes it even more imperative that we have a city council who are pro-veteran, who show up and take an active interest into what is happening in this room. I ask this committee to hold further oversight hearings on Department of Homeless Services, who oversees the Grant Per Diem program, and Institute for Community Living. I ask that we separate once and for all the veterans who have earned these VA homeless benefits from those who have not. We see this all the time. Donations come in. Donations disappear. These veterans who may not even be veterans. Borden Avenue is a dumping ground for sexual predators because they're far enough away from schools. That's a place that they can put them. They may be veterans, they may not be veterans. But I wanted
Yeah, I know, I've inquired because you
We've
made
talked about this
no, but
before.
you made some comments in the past that not all the people that are or the men at Borden were veterans, which we couldn't find anybody that wasn't a veteran. So I mean, I don't know where we asked the obviously a not-for-profit that runs it. We asked the Department of Homeless Services, and we were told they're all veterans there. But I'd like to know if you have any proof, any evidence. We would certainly look at that. As for, I will recommend, based on your your testimony today, I will recommend to my successor, whoever that is. We won't know until January. Who's assigned to this committee as chair, I will recommend that they do a hearing on Borden.
Thank you.
And then of course you would if you testified it would be great. And so if you were there too, we'd like certainly to hear from veterans who were staying there. That's the best testimony we can get on what improvements we should make there. I don't believe there should be a Borden Avenue shelter. I think veterans should go right into supportive or affordable housing.
The Samaritan Daytop has a veterans program that's much more successful. It's a sober program. Unfortunately, it's a mental health program as well. So their dollars come because
no,
they have
I
a
visited.
MICA
I
program.
visited some of their
But
facilities.
the
Yeah,
GPD program is not a MICA program.
right.
You don't have to have a mental health diagnosis to get access to the GPD program
Right.
and HUD-VASH.
Right.
And that's what they're telling veterans over at the VA, that
Right.
you have to have you either have to have a drug issue or you have to have mental health because it's a MICA shelter. Also, I just wanted to make a couple of comments on DVS. It's been 40 months since I came to New York City and I walked through their doors in August of 2022. I have seen such an incredible growth from their services, their access to the community. They care about this community. They care about the veterans in this city. I think that the things that they're doing, I just came back from Eric Botcher's office, where there right now is a VFW representative for the first time in 3 years
Yeah,
taking
that's good to hear
veterans.
that.
Yeah,
So the commissioner sitting right behind you. I'm sure he's glad to hear this.
he's not paying me, so I do want to point out one thing. The GPD program, DHS and ICL are getting $4.6 million in pass-through funding to treat us like crap. And ask Mr. Perez, he won't disagree. I think that there is an opening there for those funds from the VA to go to DVS and have them set up through either someone like Daytop or Catholic Charities, a true veterans grant per diem program, and let them take some of that funding, provide the services that they're already providing for us that we're not getting from these other programs.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thanks to this panel for your testimony. The next panel, Christopher Leon Johnson.
Yeah. All right, ready? Thank you, Chair Holden. My name is Christopher Leon Johnson. Thank you, Bob, for being a great veterans chair for the past, about, 8 years now? Thanks for being a great 4 years. Okay. I thought you did have 8 years, but thanks for being a great veterans chair we're going to miss you, the city council. I want to make it clear that I support next year that Mr. Zoran Madani reappoints this Mr. As a chair of the commissioner for veterans. He did a great job for the past many years. I have a big feeling that Madani is going to try to replace him with probably Yesenia Mata or Cesar Vargas because they helped him get into become mayor. I don't think that should be going that route because I respect those two. I love those two, but they're just too progressive. And what they're going to do is they're going to help out the city shifting more money out of the Veterans Committee and give it to the various other agencies like immigration, and that's going to be a disaster. I want to keep it clear right now that I think that this is a committee where you guys can't do a lot because the mayor's office don't respect the veterans. And the city council speaker doesn't respect the veterans at all. She hates the veterans. I think she loves more of these corrupt homeless nonprofits and immigration-based nonprofits more than the veterans-based organizations. My thing is that the way you got to fix this is by really having a speaker, a proper speaker, probably next year, hopefully next year's Menon, make it where that she prioritize the veterans and make it where that they get more money to their budget. This speaker right now failed the veterans. Of course, they're gonna get every year. The city council gonna give them a bad report because they always want to find ways to say, okay, how we gonna make it where we don't give these people the veterans committee, the veterans agencies, the money they deserve to get is by burying them. Because they gotta find a way to not give one agency the money and give it to the immigration-based nonprofit like the NYIC and the homeless-based nonprofits like WIN. So, look, I know there's a lot that this committee can't do. Veterans affairs is usually federal, but at least thank you for the city council for having a veterans committee here in the city. At least the veterans could actually speak here, unlike upstairs on the 18th floor and the 20th floor in the State Assembly, State Senate, we gotta be invited to speak. But, I mean, I know next year probably maybe your predecessor Phil Long as the chair. Hopefully, you hope that make that happen, but you got to work with the speaker. Hopefully, be a moderate speaker because you never know what's going to happen in the next 3 to 4 weeks. They'll be up at the Working Families Party, who is the main people that is opposed to really opposed to veteran affairs, and the DSA might find a way to prevent Julie Mann becoming speaker. And if that was to be a success and Hudson become the speaker, we're going to be back at it another 4 years with this. So thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for all your testimony over the years. And it was a pleasure to work with you and talk to you and keep going and keep holding people accountable. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, brother.
If there's anyone else in the room who has not had the opportunity to testify but wishes to do so, please raise your hand. You want to? Okay, come on up, Jason. Thank you. You got to fill out a card, though. Jason is a former member of the DVS and a good friend. So
yes, thank you.
Disclaimer. Go ahead.
And thank you, everyone, for being here today. I did not prepare any remarks for this testimony today, but I just wanted to use this time to thank Chair Holden for serving on this committee and for as long as he has, and to continue to be the voice for the veteran community here in New York. I know personally the challenges that Chair Holden has had over the years to get any legislation passed in the city to serve our community. And I know that those challenges were consistent, but his perseverance to continue to push through and continue to put the veteran community on the forefront of the dialogue with the many different discussions that City Council has to have about the many different cohorts that make the melting pot of New York City what it is, a priority in the city. And I just wanted to say, on behalf of the veteran community, thank you so much for your years of service.
Thank you for your service, and thank you for your efforts with DVS. And I know you keep in touch with the commissioner a lot, and you guys are good friends. But it was a pleasure to work with you when you were at DVS, and I hope we'll see each other when I'm out of the council, that we'll still meet, and I'll still attend some of the meetings. I hope to see you, and I hope to see the commissioner. But I just want to say this has been an honor to be the chairperson of this committee and to work with such great individuals as Jason and certainly the commissioner and his staff. And I worked with Councilmember Vallone too on a number of initiatives when he was certainly in the council and then beyond. And he was a great advocate, and it's great that we're remembering some of his programs in his honor. But again, I can't tell you how this was the committee that I wanted, and I got to serve. I don't know if we moved the needle. We didn't move the needle as much as I would have liked, but we did try, and we did get additional funding. We got additional resources, but we haven't reached our goal. And I think the commissioner, though, and his agency has done and certainly when you were there, you've done, what you could do, and then some. And it's just the attitude of DVS is with this commissioner and with his staff that I think have defined the agency, and certainly we will get more in the next council. I'm sure of it because of the foundation we have laid in this council. So I want to thank everyone and thank you, Jason, for your testimony.
Yes,
I did see you on Broadway. We didn't get a chance. You were crossing the street right in front of us. We couldn't react fast enough to.
Well, I just want to say that given that I have this wonderful opportunity to be regional administrator at HUD, I will continue to carry the torch that you and Commissioner Hendon has carried for the veteran community for so long, and it's an honor to have learned so much from both of you. And
so we're expecting bigger and better things from you in Washington. All right.
I hope so one day.
Thank you all,
Hope to
and
make you proud.
again, last call for anybody else who wants to testify. Nobody. Anybody on Zoom that hasn't been heard? Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. This hearing is adjourned.